What kind of wood do you have laying around your craft room? Is it from Dollar Tree, the hardware store, or even some scrap wood? Today I'm going to show you beginner friendly, easy fall decor ideas using wood. Let's jump into it. Welcome to today's video. My name is Robin. Let's get started with wood DIY number one. To start, I'm using a Dollar Tree 12-inch wreath ring, and I'm going to give it a good coat of the antique wax using a sponge brush. You could use any color you like. I'm going for a more neutral look with this so that this wreath could be used for all seasons. I'm only going to be covering one side and the outside edges and the inside edges since we are going to be gluing a lot of pieces to this wreath. But I promise it is super simple and it turns out absolutely gorgeous. You may want to go in a little heavy handed if you do use the wax since this is MDF. Now, I said we were going to be gluing lots of little pieces, and I'm going to make this wreath using wood biscuits. You can find them at your local hardware store, Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot. They're fairly inexpensive, and you get a lot in a little tub, so you can do lots and lots of projects. I chose to use two different sizes for this wreath. I'm going to use a number 10, which is kind of a middle of the road size. And then I'm going to use a size 0, which, as far as I know, is the smallest size. And wood biscuits, the way my husband explained it, are used to join two pieces of wood together, but they are very, very fun to craft with. So, because this is going to be a wreath and I want it to last for all seasons, I'm using E6000 and a little bit of hot glue. Now, if you don't like E6000, of course, you could use Gorilla Glue or wood glue. I just recommend using something else other than hot glue. So, I make a few dabs of my E6000 since it gives me plenty of time to make up my mind how I'm going to position these little biscuits on the ring. And then I just take a dab of hot glue and start gluing them down. And I'm sort of leaving part of it on the outside and some of it sticking to the inside. Um, I'm kind of going for like a leaf thing here. They kind of remind me of leaves. I don't know. But anyhow, if you can glue, you can make this wreath and you can do it different than what I did. This is just what I have seen in various places. I've seen these at arts and craft shows. I've seen them online. I've always wanted to make one, and I thought today's video would be the perfect opportunity. So I went around and just made my first layer. And then I go back in with a second layer, putting a biscuit in between the two on bottom, like you see me doing there. It's just easier to watch. Now, as you see, I did not fill the entire ring. I left a small gap there on the left-hand side because that is where I'm going to put my florals. Now, as I said, you can make this thing as thick as you want. You can put as many layers as you want. I got a little carried away, but that's all right because, as I said, this turns out absolutely gorgeous. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Robin. I want to welcome everybody to today's video. And if you're new here, I hope you'll consider sticking around and subscribing. And to my returning viewers and subscribers, you guys know I love you and I'm grateful. So I gave the wreath, once I had all my pieces glued down, a light coat of the antique wax just to give it a little color. I put a bundle of florals together using some twine And I'm not using any glue for this because I want it to be interchangeable with the seasons. So I tried to go with a neutral palette, and then I attached the bundled florals to the wreath using zip ties. That way, all you have to do is just cut the zip tie, add your new florals for the next season, and you are good to go. This was such fun to make, and you could go with whatever colors you wanted with your florals. I chose some little, what do they call them, mini pomegranates, just some neutral colored leaves, some little hop bushes. You could go mums, you could do all sunflowers, just whatever your heart desires. And this is how mine turned out. I added a nice big sunflower to the center. I love it, love it. You guys let me know what you think down below. For this next wood idea, I'm using these outdoor Jenga type blocks, and I'm going to give them 2 coats of the Waverly Plaster Chalk Paint just to give me a good base. Once that was dry, I took one of the blocks and gave it 1 coat of the Waverly Sandstone. Now, if you don't like the chippy distress look, you can totally skip this part. I'm taking a plain candle and using it to go all around the edges of this piece of wood. Now, if you don't have a piece of wood exactly like this, a scrap 2x4, whatever you have, a plank from the Dollar Tree, it'll work out just fine. The idea is wherever the wax is, your next coat of paint won't stick to it, and we will get a nice chippy finish. Today is the What Would You Make open playlist that is hosted every month by Rustic and Lace DIY and Christine of DeVyne Designs. This month's guest host is Whitney from Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots. If you have not visited her channel, you will absolutely love her. She is so creative, and I love her personality and sense of humor. The host channels and the playlist will be linked below in the description box. Be sure to go check everybody out. And if you're watching this video from the playlist, welcome. Drop me a comment below and let me know that you're here from the playlist and something about yourself. All right, so once I had the candle wax applied, I'm using nutmeg brown and gonna go over the entire piece with, I think I'm using, what am I using? Just any brush will work. It's one of these little stencil brushes from the Dollar Tree. Now, once that brown paint had dried, I'm using a, what do they call this thing? A scouring pad. Yeah, one of those things. It's not steel wool, really. You know what I'm talking about. You can use really anything. I like using this. It's just so easy to remove. Just make sure whatever you use, don't use a SOS pad. Don't use anything with soap. But just look at how that comes off and gives that beautiful chippy look. If you don't like it, totally skip it. This is what I like. This is for inspiration, so you guys know you can make it your own. And I just love this technique. It's one of my favorites of all time. And you could layer as many colors as you want. Um, I mean, the possibilities are endless. But this is just one way to do it. You could also use a piece of sandpaper if you didn't have the scouring scrubby thingy. So next I took a hunk of raffia, whatever you call it, folded it in half and tied it with a piece of twine. I'm attempting to make some hair for this scarecrow. I guess you know by now we're making a scarecrow, right? So I'm trying to finagle it on top of his head, make him kind of look right, and this stuff guys, honestly, I'd rather work with moss. I think next time I'm going to use some corn husks and make the hair the next time I make scarecrows. So he definitely needs a haircut. I'm trying to give him some bangs, but as you'll see later, he comes up a little short, but I will fix that. I took a piece of uh, floral foam. Yeah, floral foam. And then covered it with some moss because we're going to stick some little flowers coming out of the top of his head. And do be careful, as always, with the moss and hot glue because you will burn yourself. I took a piece of this burlap and folded up the bottom edge, and that's going to be his little hat. I should have made it a little bigger. I didn't realize I had cut it this short, and I'm just using my hot glue to glue it all the way around the top of his head. Now, had I been thinking, I would have used my Fabri-Tac glue because it would not seep through the burlap and leave those icky hot glue spots. But it is what it is, and he turns out adorable, in my opinion. Of course, you guys will have to let me know what you think. Well, speaking of scarecrows, as a kid, did you ever watch The Wizard of Oz? I did. I was totally traumatized by The Wizard of Oz. Okay. The Wicked Witch scared me to death, but yet every year I watched The Wizard of Oz. So today's question I have for you is, what was your favorite character from The Wizard of Oz, and why is it your favorite character? And this question is part of a giveaway that I'm doing as part of August, which is my birthday month. And in order to have a chance to win, you will need to comment the answer to that question down below. Now, this month's gift is what I call a decoupage kit, which is going to include a mini iron, a Teflon sheet, some things to decoupage with, and just all kinds of goodies. I'll have all the rules posted down below, so be sure to check those out. You will have until Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to comment on this video for your chance to win. All right, so I drew in his face with a pencil, then went back in with my paint pens for everything except for his nose, which I mixed my own color of orange because I prefer the dark colors. So I just took some orange and mixed it with a little bit of brown and got it to the shade that I liked. So this is how I'm covering up those nasty little hot glue spots there on the front of the burlap, which is using some moss and my Fabri-Tac. He needed a little something at the bottom. I took a piece of ribbon, folded it in half, glued it down as a little collar, and there is our scarecrow. I think he's adorable. My husband says he's got this look on his face like, really? You stuck a flower in my head? You guys let me know what you think about him in the comments. For my next wood craft, I'm taking another one of those yard Jenga pieces that I painted previously, and I wanted a really dark shade of navy, but I didn't have any, so I mixed some Admiral Blue with a little bit of black and got the perfect dark shade. I then went just around the edges with a little bit of antique wax, and of course that's also optional, but I just wanted a little bit of that farmhouse look. I'm taking some more of the small wood biscuits, and I'm using a stain. I added some water to some burnt umber, and I'm just kind of brushing over the petals. I'm going for a really rustic farmhouse kind of look. And when I add the other layer of paint, I think these look so beautiful. And I love the navy blue color with the way these petals are going to look. So can y'all guess what I am making here? Yeah, it's a sunflower. Okay, so I'm using the color Yellow Ochre by Folk Art, and I'm going in light on some, darker on the others, getting around the edges as best I can, and I do have them attached to painter's tape, which makes small pieces so much easier to paint. So if you all are enjoying this video so far, I would love it if you would give me a big thumbs up. That lets me know that you like my DIYs and you enjoy my videos, and it would mean the world to me. Now, because of the way I'm making my sunflower, I needed to raise this block up. So I took 2 of the jumbling tower blocks. They're the bigger blocks that you can find at the Dollar General or Five Below. I just glued 2 of those together and attached them to the bottom. Now, I'm putting on the first layer of my petals, making sure to connect them all at the center point and making sure they're touched. So for the second layer, I'm doing the same thing, just using hot glue here, and I'm going to place each one of these petals on top of the 2 beneath it so that the top petal just kind of lays there in the center. And I've also painted a half wood bead to serve as the middle of my flower, and I just keep doing that until I have finished my sunflower. To balance out the other side, I took one of those Happy Fall cutouts from Hobby Lobby, and I thought the bottom just looked kind of weird. So I glued down some Spanish moss, and then I took some braided jute. If I can find the link for that, I'll link it for you guys. I really like this stuff because the top just looked naked. I don't know. So I just ran a strip across the top. You guys have to let me know what you think. Should I have added some kind of bow or some more moss or whatever? Now, these little, they call them skewers. I actually think they're like hors d'oeuvre skewers. I got these at Hobby Lobby, but they were way too bright. So I took some antique wax on a baby wipe and muted the colors down. I glue them down to the Spanish moss, and I love this piece. It's simple, and now that I look at it, it looks like that sunflower is sitting in a flower pot. What do y'all think? Be sure to let me know which one of these wood DIYs is your favorite today. My favorite, hands down, in this video is the wood biscuit wreath by far. Please go check out the playlist of what would you make, and as well as the host channels and the guest host channels. You're going to get tons of inspiration. Also, you have until Tuesday at 6 p.m. for a chance to enter to win for my birthday month giveaway, which is a decoupage gift set. Thank you all so much for your birthday wishes. It means so, so much to me. I could not do what I do without each and every one of y'all. I love reading your comments. Please comment down below. And until next time, y'all go get your craft on. Bye.